There's two brothers and a shot of milk. Our one brother Chris is stuck in and
Dallas.
yeah,
Bizarro world.
he's stuck in Bizarro world.
Yeah.
Um, connecting flight issues, but it doesn't matter because we're here to talk superheroes, movies, TV, comics, anime, action figures, and so much more. I'm Lawrence St. Victor. We got Jack Walker Pearson and Richard freaking Wilson, the critical one right here. Why does he? He did that before. He did that last time. Why don't you
He's
give?
got too much power.
You know what? I'm gonna
All
take
that.
that as we all get a collective. That's an applause for the group. That's how I'm gonna read that, right, Rich?
Right.
Sure.
Shoot. How is your week? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you playing? What's going on?
Did you play that game I told you to try, Lawrence?
Jack, I ain't do nothing.
That's too bad. All right, so I
haven't done
played this
nothing.
game called Bramble. It's you
Bramble.
basically like a little elf dude, like the size of a grass blade, and the game's pretty kind of terrifying on some levels. It's not terrifying is an extreme word, but it's pretty good. I would recommend it. There's a demo version of it for the PS5 and PS4. So if you got time to kill and you're looking for a fun, scary game, I would recommend Bramble. Is pretty cool. Other than that, I've been working on more toy mods. And this guy, I got tired of waiting for McFarlane to drop his cyborg Superman. So I started making my own cyborg
Nice.
Hey, hold
Superman.
on. Let me some respect on that. Let me take a look at this bat. Wow, Jack.
That looks good.
You sent me a picture in text, but I wanted to wait to respond in front of our live audience of one.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's definitely it's as multiverse a version of him as McFarlane would give you. So on that level,
he's probably going to give us a worse multiverse. It's probably not even going to resemble.
Of course.
No, but I mean, it's cool. So this guy's piecemealed from about 6 different McFarlane figures.
Jack, I'm not buying you nothing anymore, Rich.
Yo, I gotta tell you, Lawrence, man,
I hate you.
Lawrence has changed my game. I have to thank you so much because I would have never bought a lot of these figures, and since Lawrence keeps gifting me these like generic, they're like, I don't know where to put them in my.
They're not
thing.
generic. McFarlane literally makes characters based off of comic book storylines. And that specific one is when Superman is trapped on Warworld with no powers. That's why he looks like a gladiator, and you ripped off his freaking. I'm done.
Yes, just the middle. But
real
this
quick,
guy,
Brent Graham, what's going on? What's up, Brent?
Just
the Brent in the house.
Just
suck,
the middle.
Jack.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
just the S is the Warworld. But look at that guy's S. And then obviously this head sculpt is from the 2-pack. That's the Devastator Superman head, which he's got that ugly grimace, so it really kind of worked for it.
Is there anything on this that I bought you? Anymore? I just want to know.
Probably like 4 pieces on there.
Jeez, Rich. I buy him these toys. Like, Jack doesn't have this. And he's like, oh, great, parts.
Yeah, but look, nobody has this.
True.
And then this is Batman's arm.
Look at that.
Batman's
Look
arm.
at that.
Oh,
the Batman. Yeah.
The Batman's arm, and then some other Superman legs. Dude, but pretty happy about it. Still got a little bit of work.
So you gave up on turning him Batman into Guts then? Or you bought 2?
No. Consider Guts has an exposed arm. So I had an extra arm. I'm still working on the Guts thing, but it's hard. That one's hard. And so this was like I had all these parts floating around, and I thought to myself, what if I took a little detour for a day? Can I turn some of this stuff into a cyborg?
No, Jack, you didn't have parts. You had birthday gifts lying around. That's what you
had. Great gift. I mean, great gift. Super happy about it.
It's terrible. Real quick, I wanted to ask you something.
What?
Months ago, Jack said he was going to buy One Punch Man off of Amazon. And I told him it's probably bootleg. It's probably going to fall apart on you. You never really showed us that One Punch Man.
I did a review of the toy. It's trash. It's worse than what's up, Brent? It's worse than the bootleg Spider-Man. It's so bad.
Not worse than my bootleg Spider-Man.
It's worse than all bootleg Spider-Mans combined. That One Punch figure is so bad that I felt conflicted about even whether or not I should put the video up.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale.
I guess that's true.
For anyone that's thinking about, you have to.
It's not. It's not worth. It's not remotely close to, and that's the Figma figures. And so I'd say maybe just steer clear of the.
It's not Figma. It's the
Figma
bootleg Figma on Amazon for $14.
It's $14. What do you expect?
No, it ain't worth it.
Rich,
it ain't worth it.
How was your week, Rich?
Mine was good. Chilling, working as usual. Grind don't stop. What was I watching? I watched a little bit of Baki Hama. It's
you're not sold on this.
I'm not. It's like
you sold it on me, or at least the last. Season.
The first season, yeah. No, actually no, because it's different. Because it's Baki. That was the first one I got you on. This is Baki Hanma. This is a whole another thing. It's still the same guy, but now it's more focused on the kid, and instead of just hitting all these random characters. And now he's trying to fight his father. Now he's getting strong enough to fight his father.
And this isn't that isn't good.
No, well, I mean, it's not that because they start off with this like ancient, like this caveman that they thought out, and he had to fight him, and then it was just crazy because he was like discombobulating his joints and all this other crap. I'm just like, what are we doing?
What turned you off? Like, what's different about this versus the other?
It's just the whole caveman thing. I'm like, what are we do? Like, it's just too
you
much.
You had a thing against cavemen.
It's not a thing against cavemen. It just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Like, why do we make this fictional character for no reason? Because cavemen weren't out here fighting dinosaurs. He's not the ultimate man. Like,
they're reaching. It's like
have this dude fight the slew of other people that he needs to fight. He still needs to fight Mr. What's his name? No, he fought him. Never mind. Take that back. Who does he need to fight?
Rich don't like Cro-Magnums.
I don't like Cro-Magnums. That's right.
Is the black dude still in it? Baki.
He was still in it. He got whooped though. He got whooped by the father.
Oh well, I guess he should. Everybody should get whooped by the father.
Yeah, because the father's the strongest man in the world.
Yeah.
What else? Watched Bleach is back with season 2 with 1,000 Year Blood War. So I watched a little bit of that. Harley Quinn. Yes.
I'm digging the
latest episode of Harley Quinn. I started looking at I looked at the Flash again.
Where?
The movie on
HBO. That's on HBO Max. Yeah.
Yo, both of those Flashes are problematic. Yeah.
You said what?
Both of those Flashes are problematic. Like they were issues. They were a menace.
Yeah,
the Flash is a menace. Like
yeah,
he's a menace. What else? That's it. Oh, I actually started playing Dead Island. No, Left 4 Dead. No, what was it?
They're both. Those are both titles.
Those are both titles, but part 2. Yeah, the one was in California. Dead Island. I think it's Dead Island. So I started playing that one. Also, The Walking Dead New York. I'm all caught up with that.
I fell off of Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's
weird redeeming. I didn't finish the comic books. I will eventually. It's just weird to redeem Negan. He seemed pretty irredeemable.
Yeah, but that happens all the time with content like this. Especially when it goes on for so many seasons where literally the heroes are like, dude, I want to move on to other things in my life. And so they take these like horrible villainous characters and they find a way of infusing some humanity into them,
and Negan does have humanity. The reason why he was doing what he was doing is because of what he's lost, like everybody else in the zombie apocalypse.
Right.
But it's like, then now we're following you in a whole show. I don't know. But I gotta watch.
I enjoy some Negan, and I enjoyed him in this one. So
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is just
he's good. He's great. He's great. My thing is these zombies, like they should be gone by now. Like, what are we doing?
No, Rich, you're a zombie guy. You know they're never gone.
No,
It's
you
been like
can't get
10 years. Like, what are
do
we talking about?
You just live with them.
They still decay and rot away. Like, what's going on? I need some
Nah, there's
explanations on why
always
they're still
there's
around.
new zombies. People still getting bit.
Oh no, they are new zombies. Yeah. And they started
Yeah.
they started breaking that down at the last episode of like the new variants of zombie, because it was just like,
With this variance.
yeah, there's like
They
a new
have
variant.
to.
They kind of like learn a little bit now, so they're not they're
They
a
jumping
little
the
bit
shark.
quiet. Now they're climbing. They kind of use rudimentary tools. There
Well, I
was
guess-
one like mesh zombies that were like mashed together because they were like all underground, like the sewers. So they were like different zombies. Yeah, they were like fused. Yes.
No,
yes.
I can get down with that because these particular zombies, they do hunt humans. So any predator species or hunter species would start to evolve to hunt better. So I can.
And they were talking about
make
that.
sense.
They were saying that, you know, the brain would kind of like, you get some of your thoughts from when you were alive back.
Is this
to get
just
your
in New
habits.
York, or is this in the end of the last Walking Dead?
No, it was in the last Walking Dead too, because there was a couple of them that were climbing and whatnot and like being stealthy.
I'm interested.
I'm
interested.
We got a question in the chat. Has anyone seen Nikki in the new Call of Duty?
First of all, no. Just stop. That was listen. She got a bag. I know she got a bag, but there was some dude. In fact, there was some dude I was playing last night that was talking hella trash with a Nikki skin. I'm like, I know you ain't talking to me. You out here bought a Nikki skin? No way.
Hey. she's
Going
from New York.
3
She's
and
from New York,
22.
Rich.
You ain't talking to me. He was from New York. Sound like he's from East New York.
Well,
Anyway.
Nikki's from New York. We gonna rock. We gonna rock with Nikki.
So you have to buy that.
Dude, I don't have to buy that. No. I don't buy them.
Not you. The proverbial you would have to buy the Nikki skin if they wanted to walk around blasting people with it.
That's kind of funny.
Hello.
That's kind of Paul.
And how has your week been, Lawrence?
My week,
really a pause,
man. I haven't been able to go anywhere, but I have been watching stuff. First, I was watching y'all last show last week that I missed out on. Very good show. I was dying to get in on the debate you guys had about Blue Beetle, man. I was like, you get one of the questions was, is he a Spider-Man knockoff? And I just had a whole dissertation prepared for that bad boy.
Too bad you missed the show.
Too bad I missed it, but I still won the debate in my mind. Jack, I don't listen to you, but I do listen to you sometimes. I caught up and finished Superman and Lois.
Oh man.
Yo.
I mean
watch that anyway.
Lawrence.
It's good.
I mean, wait,
good.
Lawrence, that last episode.
It's great, and it's still the beginning of the fight. We're still
it's not even in the middle of the fight.
Now,
and look at what he did. I mean, no spoilers, but the behavior.
We can spoil it. That thing's been out forever. I was late to it. Yeah, but we're going to talk a little bit about Superman and Lois.
We should talk a lot about it at a later point in time.
Man, but there's a flag on the play. There's a flag on the play.
What's the problem?
I'm not going to spoil nothing. But is Superman and Superman-like beings not invulnerable to being pierced through the gut by a metal object?
It didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. Yes, no, that didn't make any sense. There were a couple things that, yeah, okay, but the behavior, and even that's the one thing where the behavior actually is weird. But the rest of it, removing the fight from the city. Just like everything about the fight was so good.
Well, it's no spoiler that it's Doomsday. We won't give away what happened. But what's really interesting is that the Doomsday Rich is actually Bizarro, Superman from another world. So that Superman from another world isn't evil. He's just gone a different route than our Superman did. So we're literally seeing somewhat of an innocent person be experimented on and turned into a monster.
Oh man, and what a monster!
Before he even
but the fight itself was so good,
and it was TV, man. They really they did their thing. They did their thing, Rich. It's a good show, and Lex Luthor's a straight up badass,
dude.
He's an
ultimate
Lex
take on him.
Luthor that grew up on the streets of Metropolis and built himself up from nothing. Like that's that guy.
Is it the redhead Luther, the bald Luther, or the racially
Both.
ambiguous Luther? Really?
He
He
shaved his
and
head.
redhead?
He had redhead and he shaved his head. It's the dude that played Walking Dead. The guy that played the redheaded dude in Walking Dead. He was there for a while.
Oh,
Big
with
guy?
the beard, the big
Abraham.
Beard? Really?
Yeah, he's Lex Luthor.
Didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, that's Abraham. So all that
Interesting.
like crazy, strong, like masculine, like he's bringing all of that. It's kind of dope. It's kind of dope. What else? Rich.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Hell's Paradise just stopped at episode 13. So I kept going back. Like I feel real unfulfilled.
Yeah.
That was not a good season finale.
I mean, sometimes it be like that, bro.
I'm like, what is this?
Hopefully, it's not the only season.
It better not be after all of this investment.
Once again, sometimes it be like that.
Anime be like that. I'll tell you what. Zom 100, Jack, you need to watch that. Zom 100, the bucket list anime joint on Netflix.
Yeah,
continues to be dope. Oh,
yeah.
You're not caught up?
No, I'm not.
Dude, it's sick. All I'll say is shark zombie. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that was in the live action one. So,
Would a shark zombie need to be in the water?
It depends. It depends because sometimes those shark zombies eat a bunch of people who turn into zombies in their stomach, and the legs poke out of its belly and they're running.
Somehow they
coordinated. It's terrible.
That answers that question.
It's so good. What else? There's one more thing. There's one more thing. What else did I watch? I watched something else. What did I watch?
What'd you watch?
Crickets.
I don't have crickets.
They'll come back.
They'll come. Crickets?
Give me crickets. I'm trying to figure out.
I got crickets.
I didn't have a chance to go anywhere and see
crickets.
anything. Oh, my adventures with Superman continues to be
whack.
Rich, you're crazy. And the more I watch it, the more it's like the anime you watch, which is crazy to me. You're Jack. When you get a chance, jump on this bad boy. It continues to get better.
All right, I'll catch up with it.
Rich, you a hater, Rich. But Rich, you a hater, and since you're such a hater, I got a question for you.
Oh, jeez. What's up? What's your question?
Why does Batman's mask leave his mouth open?
So they can see that he's white.
So the police can see that he's white. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me a laugh.
Here goes a pity applause. There you go. I feel like Chris said that one already.
There was a version of it.
Did his Alexa say that already? I'm tired of him.
No, Alexa didn't say that. Alexa need to be stopped.
Well, you know what's sad about it is, and we have talked about it, the new Batman who's black has a full mask. Because
he knows better.
He knows. He's like, listen, these cops are going to shoot me on sight.
On sight. I'm safer jumping rooftops in a bat costume than I am just going to the ATM. It's funny because it's true. But anyways, let's go down the street, make a left at the stop sign, blow past right the red light, and we'll be at the Collector's Corner.
It's show and tell time.
Here at the Collector's Corner, we take something out of our toy chest, something of our video game case, something out of our comic book shelf, and we showcase it to the world. It can be worth millions of dollars, in Jack's case, or just sentimental, in my case. Rich, you just go to the store every weekend and show us your new...
I ain't go to the store this weekend. But what I did get was a surprise in the mail from our boy Jack.
Yeah.
Why is Jack? Why? Okay, anyway. So Jack's... I left to work Friday. I got a package. I kind of ignored it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Went to work, came back. And then last night, I kicked something under my desk. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, oh, it's a package from Jack. I'm like, let me open this up. And when I tell you, my man blessed me, let me give you some of the highlights, all right? I know these are toys that he probably played with or maybe his dad bought or something. Either way, they will live on in my shelf. Your memory of your father will live long in my household. This dude was the first one that I pulled out. It was a Viking.
Shoot.
Actually, it was Zeus. Zeus from Spawn. It was like one of Jack said he's like one of the first characters or something like that. Is
It's one of the Spawn figures back in
yeah,
the late 90s.
came out in '99, and my man comes pretty dope. It comes with his chain with little skulls on it, but the chain broke, so I got to find a loop to fix that. Right, got a staff, and he came with this weird helmet toupee thing. I didn't understand it, but when you get it on and sit it on his head, it looks pretty dope. So
Oh, like
he
horns.
still has a nice set of hair. But yeah, as Jack likes to say, this thing has so much texture. Just the texture on this thing. The cape is nice and flappy, and it kind of blends into hair, right? And then same thing translates over onto the beard, and then the head that you can move has like more solid beard and hair and everything like that. And then my man just like scarred up. He's very vascular. He's so vascular. You see that?
Oh,
He
very
hits the gym.
beefy. Very
Yeah.
beefy.
Man,
it's a
just chilling.
testament to McFarlane just always killing it. I mean,
Killing
that was
it.
20 plus years ago he made that thing.
Yeah. Had this little bad boy, little cable. I remember my brother had this figure in I believe it was a 6-inch version of it. So this die cast is actually pretty solid thing right there. That's sitting on my desk, chilling with the rest of my little guys. Hold on. I'm gonna pull out like two more tangs. Three more tangs. Excuse me. This little guy comes with a skateboard. My man.
Oh my God.
I remember seeing these things when I first saw something like this. It was like in like rat rods, like hot rod magazines. And it's almost like a character. I forgot what the dude's name was, but anyway, he has like the bulgy eyes, always speeding, shifting with his in his hot rod. And I was like, yo, this is kind of the same thing, but he comes with a skateboard with a motor on it. So I was like, that's pretty dope. I don't know where I'm gonna put that one. Got this guy, Wolverine, who's now going to go with my Wolverine collection.
Yeah, in the
right.
X-Men
I'm like,
suit.
Yeah. I remember I forgot if my brother had this or if Chris next door had this, but I remember playing with this a lot.
I feel like that was after Chris left.
Was it?
I feel like Chris had the '80s joints, but that was like around when the animated series was out in the '90s, I think.
Yeah.
This one, dope. And then the last one. I mean, there's more in here, but I'm just pull out the highlights. This bad boy is coming out the box.
Oh no, Rich!
The card. Listen, the card is the back of it's pretty jacked. All right, it's pretty jacked.
Oh wow!
And it's already partially open. So I'm gonna pop them open. It's the clown from Spawn, the movie. All right, make sure you get a good look at that. And he comes with a head, so he kind of like halfway morphs. Comes with a head and hands. You pop on there. I mean, his hair is coming off a little bit. I mean, he's old, so his hair's gonna come off a little bit. So I'm gonna see if I can glue that back on. But I mean, it's dope. It's dopeness.
You have to get a Spawn now because I'm pretty sure that a new Spawn will still display perfectly with that.
They probably would. Them Spawns still be looking good.
Yeah, it's all McFarlane. Still all his.
Yeah,
still all him. That's.
But yeah, I saw that, and there's a couple more things, but that's what I'm sure to highlight. Oh, and the cards. Maybe this might make me a millionaire. Maybe I could be on Jack's level. I don't know. I don't want to open it, but at the same time, Jack was like, "Why not?" I'm like, "Yeah, might make me a millionaire. We'll see." Then I can sit there and
that Spider-Man hologram.
Yeah, get it graded and be like Jack with it posted on my wall.
If you got the Cosmic Spider-Man, and on the off chance it graded at a 10, it's $1,400.
Okay.
Bye, Cosmic Spider-Man.
Yeah, on the off chance.
Well done. I'll go next. Jack, we'll save Jack best for last. But before that, something I didn't do that I should have done that you've done, Jack, when you've hosted. For y'all waiting, because you see the whole Ahsoka image, and you're like, when are y'all going to talk about Ahsoka? After everything else. We'll get to Ahsoka. But right now, we just geeking out with some cool stuff. Rich, I too received the package in the mail.
You got Jack's package?
I got Jack's package in my hands right now.
Pause.
Yo, first up, I keep Legends of Batman Joker. Now, I actually have these figures like now from my childhood. I had like 4 of these joints. I had Nightwing. I had like the Future Batman. So this is perfect. And I'm like, do I keep him in there? Do I take him out? I don't know, Jack. I honestly don't know. And don't be mad if I tell you can't be mad. You rip apart the gifts I give you and turn them into other toys. So can't be mad. Next up. Yo, now how do I keep this in the package? This is freaking like Dick Grayson as Robin. Like you can put the costume on him.
Yeah.
So this is dope. This is dope. And then
all right.
Bane.
Hey, there you go.
Yo, this is dope. I don't have many animated series toys. So like these are the first times I'm having the animated series joint. He got me this Jack specific wrestler. I'm not opening this one by accident, Jack.
That one ain't signed, though. I don't see no signature.
He got me this Stone Cold Steve Austin sign when I didn't realize what it was until I opened it. Because he didn't tell me what it was.
Wow.
It was in the box. What else do I got here? This Real Monsters joint.
Yeah, yes, I got one of those.
I watched that as a kid. You got one of these too, Rich?
Yeah, I got one of those. It's like a little eyeball thing.
And then me too, debating on whether I open this bad boy up for that Cosmic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then some Lucy's, man. We got this Shredder. Like, yeah, it's time to fight. And the armor goes right on. And he comes with 2 canisters of ooze. And then I got this Aquaman. Now, what's crazy, Jack, is I actually have figures from this toy line. I have Superman, I have Batman and Robin, and my dog ate them. And then I had and I have this I have this Flash.
Oh yeah.
But for some reason yours is in better condition. Did you play with your toys?
That one probably fresh out of the box.
Cuz I'm saying, it is pristine.
Yeah.
Pristine. And then not to keep us, but so many. Okay, here we go. And then I too, Rich, have that die-cast 90s X-Men figure, that Cyclops, man.
Yeah.
And the Cyclops toy I had back in the day did not have this costume. He had the blue costume with the hood with like the white X going through.
Okay.
And I too have this bad boy.
Got duplicates? All right.
Did you feel special until you found out he gave me the same gift?
Just shut up, right?
And then I got Taz. I feel like this is a Space Jam figure.
Yeah, I got one too. I don't know what he was trying to insinuate with mine.
Saying I'm like, or is that his underwear?
Like Skull and Goofy. I don't know what was he trying to say. So he gave me the Goofy dude, the Goofy monster.
Oh, Space Jam.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it, man. Jack, thank you very freaking much.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
This is dope. Wait. This was in the box too.
What is that?
It's a sword.
It's got to be Splinters or Shredder's.
Shredder's sword. Oh shoot! You take it out the sheath, and it's like
turns into 2 swords, 2 blades. Yeah,
that's pretty dope.
You got me.
That's pretty dope. Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. What you got?
All right, so in the 90s, I would say there were 3 major life-changing comic book events that happened in our youth.
Okay.
Death of Superman. Death of Superman. Nightfall. Days of Future Past.
Interesting. I would say Hal Jordan going mad, killing all the Green Lanterns was
unheard of.
Parallax. The hero turns villain, and it's as bad a story as anything can happen, which ultimately led to the worst of all the Green Lanterns.
What? Kyle Rayner's dope. What are you talking about?
Yes, he is, but he's not cooler than Hal Jordan, and he's definitely not cooler than Jon Stewart.
But he is cooler than Guy Gardner.
I forgot about him.
Guy Gardner was a dick.
See?
Yep. Batman gets his back broken.
Sick. Are these new-ish? Did you?
No, I've had
Did you
these.
pick these up recently?
No, I've had these since I was a kid.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just kept them in cases.
Looking good. Sheesh.
Yeah, they're looking good. So, Bane breaks Batman's back, which led to Nightfall.
Yeah. Now
Right?
when you flip that cover open, you see Azrael's Batman.
Correct. Yeah. And there are a few variants of this guy. I think this is one of the more valuable ones. And then, of course, Superman.
I mean,
And how does anyone make a Superman Doomsday figure without putting the damn S on his back? I just don't understand it.
that's a good question, Jack.
It just makes no sense to me. Which
Very
led
good
to one of the most iconic images: Superman dead at the feet of the Daily Planet.
What I love about that is in that storyline, like that image makes Jimmy Olsen like super famous and rich, and he hates it. The fact
And he
that
hates it.
yeah,
Because how did he sit there taking a picture of his best friend? Dead. And that would be an interesting start to our Leo Olsen film.
you know what, Jack?
Yeah.
If you can you can sell me on a the Leo Jimmy Olsen film if it opens up as the death of Superman, and I just became rich and famous because I took this one photograph, and it's killing me. I can say, Rich, I'd watch that.
But what would he be doing?
Paying his bill. He still got to pay his bills.
Just paying his bills. Just it's like I'm depressed, but now I'm not broke anymore. Like,
right.
Okay.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, Jack, well freaking done. I think ours is better.
Definitely.
Debatable.
Since they're gifts from you, there's still a win for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man, well done, guys. Oh, no, it's not time for the news. I'm tripping. It's time to go into that moist.
All right, listen. Let's talk. Let's talk Claymore, okay?
Jack, did you just do that, or did Rich soundboard do that?
No, I didn't do that. I probably should have pressed every button on the soundboard. All right.
It's time for Anime Alley with Richard Wilson.
Yeah, we're talking Claymore. All right. I think I might have talked about Claymore, but we're going to talk about it again. In a world rife with deadly creatures called Yumas, a young silver-eyed woman, Claire, works on behalf of an organization that trains female Yuma half-breeds into warriors with the ability to destroy these creatures. I mean, it just sounds like The Witcher, but it's pretty dope.
Is it like medieval times ish too?
It's like medieval times, yes.
So
yeah, she walks around in like some armor, a cape, and a sword, like a claymore sword.
And she's a demon, a monster hunter.
She's a monster hunter. That's exactly what she is, a monster hunter. But this is a good series. It only came out one season, but it's still good, and I recommend people watch it. She's pretty much what?
Only one season because it's one and done, or are you still waiting for
No, it's one and done. This came out a while back. Yeah. It's one, like I said, anime be like that. Sometimes you get a good season of something, you want more of it, and it'll be like, nah, we don't.
But did it end in a cliffhanger, or did they like finish their story?
I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched it. But since they I don't believe they were putting out any more mangas, so that's probably why they came out with the ending. So, yeah. So it's pretty much there's a whole hierarchy within the organization, kind of like The Witcher, and I believe there was a bit of corruption in there, if I'm not mistaken, like The Witcher.
So, can I just watch The Witcher, or
no? Watch this because it's a good story. It's a good story. It's a good story. The animation's dope, and I recommend it for like a quick season.
How rich is it, Rich?
We don't do the rich thing. Watch it.
I don't know how to take that. Is it, what are you doing with your life? Is it?
No, it's not what you're doing with your life. But if you have some time, just give it a check. It's dubbed, so you don't have to worry about reading.
I still got other anime you told me to watch.
What you have? Listen, you're gonna have the list is just gonna keep getting bigger each week. What are we talking about?
But
You better get on that.
But I watch what you tell me. Don't I want
That's
Hell Paradise once it's on 100?
yeah.
I watched I watched a lot of the stuff you told me to watch.
And are they not good?
They're great. I actually have to watch that one. It's a couple. There's two that stand out. Where the two people have powers, but their bodies are kind of mechanized. The one's good, the one's evil. Remember that? You talking about that?
What was that the Rocket? No, Rocket Bunny. Something with Bunny.
Is that what it is? He's like
no,
like
but
he's
they're
a regular
partners.
guy. No, not that one. I know that one. This one is like he I don't know if he dies or something, but he comes back and like parts of him are like robotic. And he has to learn how to use his powers. And there's someone else who's evil. He said a while ago. I don't know.
I remember that one.
There's another one. Yeah, he talked about this. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
He talked about one with magic, and I forget the name of it. He's like an animal creature thing. I got to go back. I just go back and listen to her.
That's real specific, especially when you're talking about anime.
Right?
The magical animal creature thing.
The magical animal creature. Yeah.
That really
I forget. There was
a time I got resurrected as a slime. That's a pretty good
yes.
one. Did I talk about it? Okay.
That's what I think I'm trying to figure. Yes, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay. That's a pretty good one too. You should get on that one.
All right. After Zom 100 is done, and then I'm gonna watch the live action movie, and then I'll start a new anime.
I mean, you don't have to watch the live action one.
I'm interested to see how they adapted it. Just for like me being a film geek of it, I just want to see how they.
All right.
Because I don't think they probably didn't adapt the anime; they adapted the manga. So I'm curious.
No, from what you're talking, I mean, yeah, they more like adapted the manga, but from what you're telling me, it pretty much was. I know it ran pretty consecutive with the anime.
The anime's still coming out, right?
Yeah, I know. On up until because when I left off, he got the diver suit. He got the shark suit.
Oh,
in the anime, so they pretty much run
episode.
through. Yeah, they run through all that.
And that's it.
For the most part, yeah.
It doesn't end in the end.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's a. I mean, listen, it's like an hour and a half movie. You know, they can't put it all in there. This is what happens when they live action and then just like try to cram a movie based off of what's already out there. They just put bits and pieces of it into the movie, and then they try to make it work.
I will say though, since we're in Anime Alley, the way this freaking anime makes you think you watching just a regular anime, and then it gets raunchy. I'm like, is she gonna get turned to a zombie because this dude is going down on her? Because her legs are open and his head is like doing this, and literally, and then all you hear is like you just see blood, and it's like that's what he ate her.
He chomped on it, you know.
Literally,
he literally ate the box.
Yes, and in other
news, it's time for the news.
Time for the news.
Man, okay, so as everyone who's been paying attention knows, we're in the midst of a writer's strike and actor's strike. So there's not much new news on that front. But we did have a Gamers Con. And there's a lot of video game news, which I'm not going to go over. But please go on YouTube, IGN. They dropped so many trailers. Mortal Kombat had its like 17-minute trail because they're doing like there's a story mode now or whatever.
It looks so good.
So that they're killing it. They also talked about how different Omni-Man and Homelander is going to be because they're playable characters in the game. And you can kind of think like, well, their power set's going to cancel each other out. They're like, no, completely different. It's going to be completely different experiences. We're getting Attack, the Killer Clowns from Outer Space video game in which you can play as the team of clowns trying to kill humanity or a team of teenagers trying to take down the clowns. You can decide which ones you want to be. This looks freaking fun. This looks ridiculous.
I love watching that movie. It was a fun movie.
It's a specific group of people who even know it exists. Like you have to be like an 80s teen / 80s kid to even like it does not come on anymore. Like I don't even know where, but it came on all the time.
Around the time we were getting movies like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
True.
That's old, Jack. The
Yeah.
original's like 1960s or something. That's
What kind of
old,
drugs does a person got to be on to come up with that?
I mean,
dude. Talking about the
it's
80s,
Okay,
good stuff.
Killer
Gremlin,
Tomato.
critters,
Yo,
like all of them
critters.
joints.
Yes.
Come
What
on,
was the Toxic Avengers? What Toxic
Toxic
Avenger?
Avenger, which we're getting a new one starring
Really?
Peter Dinklage. You know the dude Tyrion Lannister from Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. He's playing
Yeah.
the Toxic Crusader, Toxic Avenger. We're getting a new movie coming
Okay.
out eventually. Oh
Huh.
yeah. Um, yo, Rich, I'm excited about this. So we're getting a video game called Project Muggin. You heard about this?
No, what was that? Project
It's an
Muggin?
open world RPG
Harry,
with a supernatural anime setting and Spider-Man gameplay mechanics. I saw some of the video.
Oh, yes, I
You
did
pretty
see
much
that.
that joint looks crazy. You're web
Yeah.
slinging like Spider-Man in an anime open world game.
Yeah.
It looks
It looked interesting.
looks interesting. We're getting a One Punch Man video game,
it'd be nice to fly as a hero.
but in the videos I was seeing him throw more than one punch. So how does this game work?
Oh yeah,
How does this game work?
that's interesting.
It's supposed to be one punch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And some anime translations aren't the
How do you,
strongest.
how do you
Nah,
translate it?
you can't make a One Punch Man. He's got a combo. Like you can't do that.
He had a combo
He's got a combo.
in the video, and he looked beaten in the trailer. Like he looked like he was struggling.
Oh no, that's
I
not
don't
One
know.
Punch Man. Not my One Punch Man. No.
I think it like this.
Hashtag not my One Punch Man.
I think I like this game, Rich, because you played that Bugs game, right? Where you're like a bug living a life.
Oh,
The Rick and
Backyard or something like that.
Backyard. So there's a game called I don't know what the game is called. In Pigeon Simulator. Basically, you're a pigeon, and you can not only eat garbage, steal food, and poop everywhere, but you can also murder people by breathing fire. You're pretty much flying around this
Oh, that's
open
like
world as a pigeon.
it's like that duck game, like Bad Duck or Bad Goose or something. They had a few like games where you're like bad animals and you just go around wreaking havoc.
I think this is it. This
Okay.
is the pigeon one. So you're like in like it looks like New York City or inner city, and you're just
They had one
havoc.
with a squirrel, and you just walk like you have a gun, and you're just shooting people with a gun, like as a squirrel. But it's like it's not like it's a small gun, like to fit in a squirrel's hand. Like it's a huge gun. It's a regular sized gun, and you're a squirrel. And
That's
like every time you
ridiculous.
shoot, you're like blasting all over the place.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Now, who comes up with stuff like that, Jack?
I
'Cause
don't
that's
know.
what I want to know. Yo, as we said, there is an impending strike. So Dune is now delayed. It was supposed to come out November 3rd, 2023. It's now coming out March 15th, 2024.
Right.
That's a
and,
significant push.
and the reason for this isn't even because the movie's not done. It's because they can't market. It's a marketing problem.
Look at Blue Beetle. Like
Yeah.
you have none of the actors can actually do press for this thing. And Barbie was smart. Barbie, they filmed so much of their press, as well as like part of their whole PR campaign was to do collabs with other things. So their marketing campaign was strong, even though they couldn't have the actors front and center. But Blue Beetle, with an actor who's kind of coming up and a superhero that no one knows about, you kind of need them to do the press tour. But man, speaking of Barbie, it has passed Mario as 2023's highest grossing movie at the domestic box office with $575.4 million.
I mean, like Lauren, Lauren said, like Chris says, it is the movie about the struggles of man in modern day society.
Rich, you're Knuff. You are Knuff, okay?
I don't know what Knuff. I have no idea what you're saying. Gesundheit, like what?
Listen, yo, we finally got a date for Rick and Morty, man. Rick and Morty will be back with season 7 on October 15th. You Rick and Morty fans,
Yeah.
Some of that Rick, some of that Morty, and sad news, Bray Wyatt, wrestler of the WWE, passed away at the age of 36 years old. Very sad. And Arlene Sorkin, who is the voice of Harley Quinn, Batman the Animated Series, passed away at 67 years old. She pretty much, like, Harley Quinn was created on Batman the Animated Series. So she's
Yeah.
pretty much part of the reason why Harley popped off. And every performance of Harley has kind of been hers, connected to hers. Even the kind of sort of weird New York kind of accent that they kind of sort of use is all her creation. So
Yeah.
she will be missed. But
Yeah.
that's the news.
I gotta tell you, a movie I'm very excited for. It's gonna be a 2-part movie. There's a really, I think we maybe talked about it a few months back, but there's an extended trailer of it now. Rebel Moon.
Oh.
Oh yeah, there's a fly.
Did you get it, Lawrence? Did you get
I
it?
didn't. I didn't even know there was a fly in here.
Looks like a cat.
Just like, I've been
Dude,
catching them.
Zack Snyder's next visual masterpiece, Rebel Moon.
He said this is Star Wars with violence and sex.
This looks so good. And it's like,
Okay.
it's why I love Snyder so much. If I were making visual masterpieces,
Do you?
I would be making Snyder flicks. The
Yo,
guy, I mean, go watch that movie and tell me it's not eye candy for every one of our generation.
Snyder, listen.
I don't know if he's being serious or not.
I don't know either, but
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
am.
take it. I still don't know.
All right.
Oh, I definitely am.
Zack Snyder's dope, man. You may not like some of his choices every now and then, but look at 300. Like, it's iconic because of the heart and the relationships and the connection. It could have just been one big fight scene, but there was more.
This movie looks like there's so much going on. I have no idea how it can't. I don't know how it would be contained in a 3-hour setting. It must be an 8-hour movie. Watch the trailer. It looks like
he's still hitting on Zack Snyder's Justice League right now. He's doing it.
No, Justice League was amazing.
Go
What are
ahead.
you talking about?
And then the like asterisks, you say
No,
any
Justice League.
any 8-hour movie would be amazing.
Well, it was a really good 8 hours.
It was a great 8 hours. Brent says keep the Joker in the package. I guess open the other two. Okay. I'm gonna open one. I gotta open them all, Brent. What are we doing?
I mean, you know.
When we knew we were gonna do it. But that's the news. And yes, Jack, you were right. That joint is coming out. It looks sick. I love the fact that like he has the actors that he works with that's in it. Like, like he has his go-to people that he likes creating with. So that's freaking dope. But it's time to stop.
Yeah, I did see this trailer.
Rich, we're well past being on the same page here. It's time to get your fighting cap on. It's time to get your boxing gloves on because it's time for debate.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Yo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well done, Rich. Well
right.
freaking done. There's only room for one star in this world. There's not room for 2 stars, just 1 star. I need to see where you guys draw the line. Which side are you on in the Star Trek versus Star Wars camp? And for those watching and those who will watch later on when this isn't live anymore, I want to know, what do you like better? What do you think is better? In the this debate has been going on since before we were born.
Yeah, true.
Star Wars versus Star Trek.
Okay, who's going first?
There's only one right answer.
Really?
Is there? And honestly, this is one of them debates that gets you canceled from either fan base.
You want space wizards? What do you run?
That's a good point, Lawrence. I say it's tragic that Chris is not in this debate.
I know,
because he is so Star Wars sighted. There is no room for any other content in his life, regardless of whether that content is watchable or not. I'll say this though. Star Trek 1960s to current, 13 films, over 8 TV shows, 3 cartoons, video games, comic books, and you want to talk about pioneering diversity in content. It's Star Trek. Without Star Trek, you don't get the first interracial on-screen kiss. And they've been kind of following suit. And what Star Trek did for balding men, not just in America, but in the world. It's like, listen to Gene Roddenberry and Patrick Stewart talk about Patrick Stewart even getting cast. When he goes back in, he's screen testing and he's wearing a wig. And he goes out for a break and it's hot, so he takes the wig off and they say, "Hey, you got to get back in here, Pat. They want to see you again." He's like, let me get my hair. But he didn't have time to get it on, so they just brought him back in and he comes in bald. Crushes the audition, of course, and at the end of it, they don't want to cast him. The studio doesn't want to cast him. And it's Gene who said, "It's the future. Nobody cares about hair."
Right?
And it was right. And so Star Trek has done so much. Oh, plus Lawrence, our friend Sonequa Martin Green, being the
How does that make it better?
First black female captain. It means something.
These are all great historical things, but does it make the content better?
The only thing Star Wars definitively has on Star Trek, I would say, is video games, because Star Wars video games are killing it.
True.
And toys. Star Wars toys.
Star Wars animation destroys Star Trek.
Yeah. But story, character, content, heart, I gotta give it to Star Wars overall.
Wait,
Star Trek overall.
I think, no, you were right last time, Jack. You're completely wrong here, and all those things you mentioned about Star Trek is very true. But first of all, there isn't a really a right or wrong here. It depends on what you're into. Trek means journey, discovery, searching for, star journey.
Yeah.
And then there's a Star War with ninja freaking space Jedis with laser swords.
You don't even know what to say. You're just talking.
No, what I'm saying is this, Rich. What I'm saying is this. When it comes to changing the game in fantasy, when it comes to a studios telling George Lucas this isn't going to work, no one can see your vision. Steven Spielberg looking at a cut saying, "I don't know." Like, no one knew about Star Wars and how it would work until it came out and literally changed the blockbuster game. And then what Star Trek did on television was great. But at the end of the day, it kind of is just a procedural. You could have taken a lot of those same stories and put them in a submarine. Star Wars is incredibly unique. It's all those were on a ship or a vessel going into the unknown looking for whatever. It kind of is that, especially the original.
But it's space.
Yeah, the final frontier.
The final frontier.
You're right.
What are you talking about?
But Star Wars,
discovering new worlds and new planets, not interrupting primitive.
But they do
planets and cultures.
But they do.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes you got to. In order for them to flourish, they have to. Maybe they might need to divert that volcano is about to blast on them. Pause and divert the lava flow. I'm just saying. It's the betterment of that society, whether they realize it or not. Yeah, I mean, what's the offset? Maybe they may get worshipped as gods. Okay, we'll worry about that down the line.
You sound like a colonizer to me, if I ever heard one.
No, they ain't no colonizing, because they don't really interact with them directly. They just see the ship and they're like, oh, just like Indians. I'm sorry, Native Americans and any other primitive culture, when they see something in the sky and they're drawing birds that look like spaceships. Oh, what are we talking about?
And this is better that's better than Star Wars. Knights of the Round Table in space opera.
Knights of the Round Table? What do you think? There was no Knights of the Round Table.
That's what the Jedi are.
Listen, as much as I like Star Wars, Star Wars. Yeah. As much as I like it,
it's the superhero origin story.
It didn't. You had a bunch of, like, the Jedis, as good as they were just blinded by their own arrogance, thinking that, oh, the bad guys can never come back, and then they got wiped.
That's why it's good, because Star Wars isn't about good and evil. It's about balance. There has to be balance in the Force.
So the balance was taking out all the good guys and leaving the rest of them to scatter out to the four winds.
Yes,
throughout the society, and then being taken over by the Federation. What are we saying?
Dude, y'all are tripping. Empire Strikes Back changed the entire. To see the bad guy win in the end by cutting off your hero's hand, and the credits roll after that, was unheard of. You don't have a doper cinematic. Star Trek has yet to deliver a cinematic moment like that ever, and that was in a second movie.
Khan, what are you saying right now?
Wait, you're telling me the Wrath of Khan?
No, I just want to say that. Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up.
Wait,
I want
what
to
are we
say that.
talking about here?
All right.
Luke, I am your father. There's not a more quotable movie quote than you can ever say. Luke, I am your father.
You
want to talk about changing the game? James Earl Jones playing the villain, giving that voice. You want to talk about?
But only his voice, because we can't put him on screen.
We gotta start somewhere. We gotta start somewhere. Stop it. We got Billy D. Williams in this mother. It's not Billy D. Williams in this. Look at Chewbacca, man. You talking about a bald captain? We got a guy full of hair in this bad boy.
What? What are you saying right now? To be honest, I'm just biased.
I'm not a Trekkie or a Star Wars head, so I was going to choose whatever side you guys didn't. So there's a debate.
Well, I'm more of a Trekkie because I was always sitting down watching that, and that's more nostalgic for me because I would sit down and watch that with my pops. So I've always liked Star Trek, and kind of live long and prosper. I'm that dude.
I think it's wait. Brent said something. See what I. Oh, he didn't like. Well, no one really likes Star Wars Force Awakens, the latter movies. But I will say, if you guys chose Star Wars, I would have said Star Trek because Star Wars has been great, but it's a hit and miss when it comes to what comes out. Whereas Star Trek, I feel, has been pretty consistent season to season. Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, like each one.
And you notice the only ones you can talk about are the first three, right?
Right.
You like Do you not like Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian was good. But listen, you ain't saying nothing about the Mandalorian, all right?
Star Wars.
No, you didn't say nothing about the Mandalorian. You sitting there talking about the first three because the last three were trash.
Oh wait, we're gonna sit here. So every Star Trek series that came out was fire.
Maybe not everyone. They were hitting. Maybe not all of them, but for the most part, I was in the Next Generation. I was in there with Deep Space Nine. I was in there with Voyager. Bro, I was in the street.
Did you watch it?
I ain't watching Enterprise. That came out a little bit.
I can't even.
It was a little bit out there. I wasn't messing with that. Man. But yeah.
I think they're polar opposites. I think one's a sci-fi show and one's sci-fantasy.
You really kind of nailed it when you talked about Trek being a journey of discovery and the other one being action adventure, and that's really what it is. And the content is really catered to that. Star Wars lightsabers are awesome. The world is fantastical.
Telekinesis.
The vehicles are cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, and the characters are cool. But at the end of the day, I keep going back to content, and the content of Star Trek for me is usually more satisfying because there's just usually a little more going on.
Yeah,
it's a TV series, so there's just more content.
But there's so many movies. There's 13 films.
The movies do not touch. Maybe two movies. Star Trek movies are not messing with the original Star Wars movies. They're just not touching them. Not even remotely close. And yes,
they're different. That's for sure.
Yes, they're different.
But there's not. You guys don't have a similar but equal iconic moment as Luke, I am your father.
Khan.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Khan.
That's equal to finding out Darth Vader's your father after he cuts your hands off and leaves you.
It's iconic.
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
So the winner of this debate is Lawrence is showing a different side.
What is going on over there?
And on that note,
well, I'll say this: the winner of the debate is whichever piece of IP is still ongoing, because that's the winner. When you can have something that was made in the 70s or even
both
60s,
ongoing.
They're both winners.
So,
I mean, to keep this thing going, like that's unheard of. It's unheard of for there still to be generations of people can go back to the same IP. You can have a grandfather, a father, and a son all watch the same IP and talk about like, oh, remember this, remember that, or my day this happened, and the phasers did this. Like they both doing something special,
Yeah.
you know. I haven't watched the newest Star Trek series with Captain Pike.
I haven't either,
I
and
haven't
I
watched
hear
that either.
it's
I hear it's
one of the
really
best.
good.
Mm.
Yeah, I hear it's the best one to come out.
I've
And,
seen episodes, and it is really good. But I
Paul
haven't
Wesley
watched.
plays a young Kirk,
I watched a
but
little bit of Picard. That was all right. It was also a little bit of slow burn on that one.
Yeah,
And then
But
the
the-
animated series thing. Below Deck, I think it was.
that's
Lower
kinda
Decks.
like,
Lower
that's
Decks,
funny
yeah.
though. That's a
I mean, they're still going out there trekking.
right. But the Star Wars animator, Star Wars Rebels, Clone Wars, those
Yeah,
are
yeah.
fire.
No,
And
they are.
those are fire. You talk about
Yep.
content, Jack?
Listen, and like I said, Star Wars owns the video game and toys, you know.
Mm.
And as far as like monetary value, you got those original Star Wars toys from the 70s in
Mhm.
good condition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
They're one
And-
of the they're literally one of those things that made collecting popular.
So Star Wars is the best. All right, let's see what do we have now. That's it. We had a wonderful debate, guy. Rich, you have way too much power. I hate it. Wonderful debate, but I guess it's time to get to the reason why we're here.
It's time for the main event.
Jack, take it away.
Yeah, that's right. I'm doing the main event. What are we talking about? Oh, Star Wars, Ahsoka. So I guess let me read you a little synopsis here. Here we
When he
go.
pulls out a piece of paper, we're in trouble.
We're talking the latest addition to the Star Wars phenomena, Ahsoka. Here's the official description. Set after the fall of the Empire, Ahsoka follows the former Ahsoka, the name of this series, follows the former Jedi Knight Ahsoka as she investigates an emerging threat to a vulnerable galaxy. I feel like they could have written that better. Okay, here's a little backstory. Ahsoka works as a sort of sequel to the animated series Star Wars Rebels, as it follows Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson, some other characters as they hunt down the villain, the Grand Admiral Thrawn, and hopefully find their buddy Ezra, who's missing.
Ezra, that's right, Ezra.
So let's go for some spoiler-free thoughts. Lawrence, spoiler-free.
I was kind of torn. At one point, I was like, I love how this is making me interested in Ahsoka and making me want to go back and watch, Rebels and Clone Wars and this is yeah, you said it's pretty much a sequel of that. But at the same time, I was like, I just shouldn't have to do homework to enjoy this. And I get it. Like Marvel does it all the time. We don't need to catch you up on all the movies. True. But you can't expect a TV watching audience to also be an animation watching audience. It's two different mediums. Not everyone's going to watch the cartoons because they want to watch a live action series. I don't feel like we should have to. So a lot of exposition was given to us that slowed the pace down for me to the point where I got a little bored.
Oh, okay.
Rich.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. It did slow it down a bit. And people needed it because a lot of people didn't watch the cartoon,
right?
So I was already caught up to most of it because I really didn't watch all of Rebel. But other than that, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was some dope fights in there, right?
Yes, there was.
Yes. That's all I can see. Spoiler free.
Yeah, that's right. Spoiler free. Very good.
Yeah.
Spoiler free thought. I'd say I like it better than Boba Fett.
Yes.
and I like it better than Andar, I think. And I
Yeah.
like it probably less than Mando at this point. But Rosario Dawson is very captivating to watch. She's really wonderfully cast.
Mm.
And having watched the anime, especially the one where she's a kid and we're like following Ahsoka as a baby, having
Yeah.
watched that, I really see elements of that character's thoughtfulness, the way she sees things in Rosario's performance. So I like that. Other than that, it's a Star Wars world.
That it is.
Yeah.
All right, so there's spoiler free. Let's spoil this thing.
I want to say one thing. I want to piggyback off something you said, now that we're in spoiler territory. I kind of was feeling what I felt in the last season of Mando, where it's like we're using Ahsoka to bring us into this world, but we're not spending as much time with her as I want to. Like I wanted, like, give me. I felt like she got us here, and then we spent more time with some of the other characters than her. And maybe if you're a Rebels fan, that's fine. But for me, I'm like, the only character that I really know is her, and why are we like leaving her so often?
Yeah, I felt that too, actually. And they're just those. I don't know whether I felt those characters, and we'll get into it as we start talking about the content a little bit. I don't know whether I felt like those characters just aren't as flushed out at this point yet, or they just weren't as interesting. But definitely, Rosario's character has the Mando vibe where I want to stick with her as much as possible. And when I'm not sticking with her, I'm almost waiting for the story to start back up again.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So this is going to be a really crude synopsis, plot point breakdown of the thing. So feel free to jump in and clarify as we go. Content kind of starts out with a prison break. We got a witch in a cell, and she's getting busted out by some other dudes who end up being on the Sith variety.
Former Jedi's. Yeah.
Right.
Former
And
Jedi.
rest in peace, Ray Stevenson, who this is like his last role, I think. The dude with the orange lightsaber.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
He also voiced a different character in Rebels. So yeah, it's a different character, but yeah, Ray Stevenson played freaking the Punisher in Punisher Warzone, amongst
yes, I heard. Yes, that is him. Yeah.
Well, so Ray is playing the main villain of the story right now,
or the guy right under the main villain. Like we haven't,
Right.
we haven't seen Thrawn yet, so the guy who's working for, or they're like mercenaries sort of types, right? They're just kind of hired guns. They're not,
but they are ex-Jedi turned Sith.
or were they Sith already?
Well, anyone who's Sith was Jedi before.
Did they train Jedi? Did they train like? Did all Sith lords train under the good? Or
No. I mean, the most powerful character, Starkiller, was a clone who was apprenticed to Darth Vader. So
right. So you can have the Force and never have been a Jedi.
Right.
But the way he said, "I'm no Jedi," felt like you were.
He was Jedi. Right.
I don't know.
Well, he was saying there's such a limited amount of us. It'd be a shame to kill Ahsoka. But the funny thing about Ahsoka is she's actually not Jedi and she's not Sith. That's why her sabers have no color to them.
Right. Yeah.
Like she's a really interesting character in that.
Wait, she doesn't. She doesn't possess the Force like that. No, does she?
She does possess the Force.
But she no longer follows the ways of the Jedi. She kind of
she's neither Jedi or Sith, which is why apparently her sabers have a void of color.
And the scene you're talking about, her going to that planet, happened before that?
The
opening. What? Did you skip the opening where she's like on that planet?
Ahsoka is like the third thing we saw, wasn't it? We saw that, then we saw the reception, then we saw Ahsoka go to the planet and get the map.
They made us wait for it. Keep my
Yeah,
bad.
they really slow burn her entrance. So that's the opening. We have the jailbreak where they get the witch out of the thing and they massacre the whole ship. Then
That
we
was dope.
have right. It had some really lame combat though, in my opinion, because you got 20 guys blasting their blaster guns. And then you got the guy with the lightsaber just kind of doing the same move, and you're like, everyone's shooting in the same spots. You're like, it was so easy to deflect.
Now I'm gonna say,
Unless what he was doing, he was like, what we didn't see is he was using his force power to
oh, they
bring
weren't
the
even
blaster
coming.
shot.
Yeah, they were going around them. I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna call crap on it because Disney has more money than everybody.
Yep.
But I think somebody was saying this in Mando too. Like we're not seeing the plethora of alien species in these series that we do in the movies. Everyone's pretty just humanoid, and every now and then you'll get a green human or a blue human or that one person in the back.
Because
And I feel
it cost a lot.
Fish
yeah,
human.
that one,
Fish.
and that one. But yeah, because it costs too much, and I think that's the same thing with like some of the action sequences. Like we spent the money on Ahsoka, like drilling into the ground. That's it for this episode.
And I gotta tell you, I mean, by the time we finally get to Ahsoka, which is like the third kind of plot point in the thing, right? So we again jailbreak, then we were introduced to the rebels, then we get Ahsoka.
We got to talk about Wills real quick. Really enjoy your videos and podcasts. Thank you for producing great content. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thanks for following. We need to get some of the podcasts dropping again. That's life has been very lifey lately.
But you can watch. But until then, you can watch us on YouTube right here where you're watching it.
So, yeah, Ahsoka's opening scene was actually pretty great, and the way she uses the lightsabers, I'm hoping that they explore that a little more because she turns them on and then uses her force power to use them without even touching them.
We haven't seen that like that, right? Like that's
I haven't seen anybody do that. Like, and then she spins them without even touching them, and boom, she's dropping. So the way she's utilizing her powers and the weapons right in the opening scene is actually really cool, and I was hoping to see a little more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the closest thing we get to that is when the guy throws his double-sided saber, and then it like boomerangs back to him later. We're like, how that happened? I guess he's just controlling it with the force.
Use the force, you know. But that cool sidestep, and she
yeah.
her.
Oh, she's so cool. She's so cool. Her character is actually one of the more powerful characters in the canon. So it's cool to finally have her in a series, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have Luke out there somewhere, but outside of that, it'd be like her, right?
Yeah, well, she's on. I mean,
but I mean, in this time,
literally,
Luke isn't old and crazy yet. He's like, this is where he took Grogu off and brought him back in Mando. Like this is that 10 years or whatever.
It's part of the prequel series.
Yeah. Keep going, Jay.
All right, so then she's there collecting a map that the witch was talking about. The name's the witch character. Anyway, she gets exactly. Morgan, that's right. So she gets an orb.
Yeah, it was like some regular name. It was like some his name is Jeffrey Williams. It's like this is regular
Lady
name.
Morgan.
Lady Morgan.
So she gets the orb. Her friend says you should go back, talk to the rebels. The person who was your apprentice is probably the one you want to talk to about cracking the code on this thing. Ahsoka's like, I guess I'll have to go do that. So she goes to the planet to find her old friend who was one of the rebel heroes. And she's got to... Yes?
No, I'm saying this is where if you watch that animated, you're getting you're not bored. This isn't exposition for you. You're seeing her freaking Mandalorian suit. You're seeing that she's trained as a Jedi. Everything about her that we're like, who is she? They already know. And it was working for me at first. But then after a while, it was like, I don't care about her yet. I don't care about her.
Well, you don't care about her yet in this content specifically. And we have no reason to yet. Other than she's got this dope bike scene when we first meet Sabine. How do you say her name?
Sabine.
Sabine. When we
Sabine.
first meet her, she's literally ditching an event to honor her and her fallen rebel comrades.
Which is straight up an image like out of the animation. That mural, that was pretty cool.
Right. And then, but she's got nothing. She want nothing to do with that. So she's on a bike, headed out of town, and on a cruiser. Right. And that's pretty dope how she evades them,
Mm-hmm.
and then gets to her kind of weird looking cat duck.
Do not judge her animal, Jack.
It's odd. It kind of reminded me of the Last Guardian, who's like a chicken dog. It's a really interesting character. So it's like it's a cat duck looking thing. It's a weird looking character. Okay, cool. She's there. Eventually, Rosario shows up to meet up with Sabine, and she gives her the orb begrudgingly. Says, "Listen, stay here. It's not safe. Please stay in my ship. Crack the orb here." And then she, I guess, passes out for a minute. And maybe Ahsoka's got narcolepsy or something, but Sabine leaves with the orb, and Ahsoka shows up, and she's like, "Oh, where'd she go?"
Now,
I guess she took off.
This is one of them parts where it felt like, and I can't say characters are acting out of character because I don't know who they are, and people who watch the Rebels can tell me, but it felt like these two veteran soldier type people. That's a childish thing to do. I'm just gonna run off with this orb that has a map and figure it out by myself. That's like a 13-year-old response. And a part of it took me out a little bit. I felt like, oh, this needs to move the plot forward. I felt like this is what moves the plot, but it doesn't feel like this is what a savvy.
But we knew that specifically because we're watching those scenes while we're also watching scenes of the bad guys know what they got to go do. And so we know that they're on their way. So by the time she leaves with the orb and she's no longer with Ahsoka, we know that, well, they're going to track the orb to her place, and this is where everything's going to go south.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, it's on some level it's lazy writing, because more interesting writing might be, how do we let the characters be logical and plausible, behave in cool ways, and still put them at a deficit? So you'd go, all right, well, maybe the Sabine character can't do what she needs to do in Ahsoka's vessel, right? But she could say that, listen, I need my equipment that's in my house. And Ahsoka would be like, okay, I'll go with you. I'll send the droid with you, or okay, go and come back. And then you have a scenario where maybe something happens, but at least they're on the same page, right?
Yeah, you say this all the time. It was forced conflict. I know they had a falling out, but it didn't seem like their falling out was like, well, we'll watch the world burn until we can figure out how to work together.
Well, that's what you said. It starts feeling childish and petty, as opposed to these people are at the top of their class of what they do, and they can put those things aside in order for the greater good to be accomplished. And instantly we're not in a place where we're seeing the content fall out that way.
Right.
And it's a weird thing where you start questioning whether it's even true to character, because it puts the Padawan, soon to be Padawan again, Ahsoka's apprentice, in this position where you're like, I don't even like her. She's making bad choices.
Yeah.
And if you let her make good choices, we'd care about her.
Yeah, and I was just looking at it. It said that she is supposed to be 21 years old. So it's like, what are we doing?
Well, and I get and the thing is, the actress isn't, and maybe that would have helped me suspend my disbelief if I saw the actual person on screen look like a child. Like it looks like
21's not a child either, though.
No. And especially after what they experienced, they growing up real fast.
No, you're 21. You're an adult.
If you saw the actress that plays 11 on Stranger Things, how she looks now, in your mind you would buy childish, even if it doesn't make sense. A part of your mental logic would go, "Oh, she's a stupid kid."
Well, maybe they got the content a little twisted, as Rich started to highlight. she's a rebel, so it's in her character to rebel against everything, whether it makes sense or not. And that's what she does. She rebels against Ahsoka, takes the orb to go crack it. While she's cracking it, of course, the bad guys are they show up at her place. They rather easily dispatch her, take the orb. She gets stabbed in the stomach with a
Right.
lightsaber.
We got to stop right there. Now, when she got stabbed and it went all the way through, I was like, oh, wow, they killed off a rebel in the first episode.
Nah,
Bold
I
choice.
didn't think that, because the
I didn't
way
either.
it went through, it didn't go like directly in the middle of her. It went off. It was like off to the side. So maybe punch
Also,
her
she
lung and
didn't-
some other stuff.
Like, why didn't she just move her hand to the side? There'd have been nothing left.
Yeah.
But that's
she went in and then turn and like pull it out.
right.
Turn it
So
off.
it's almost like I'm going to land a killing blow, but do it in such a way that gives plausible deniability that you do survive. It felt like, since when do lightsabers, like they went through those whole freaking people in the beginning with just swipes, nothing, swipes. Here, she gets ran through, and I get it. Lightsaber probably cauterize the wound as it enters, but still, you're not up and at him. You're not up and at him, Rich.
No.
The best. Have you seen the best depiction of a lightsaber fight? Is this guy who's got a flashlight and he turns it on and he's talking about the mechanics of light and how there's no weight to this thing, and the best fighting technique would be one of two ways. This.
Yeah, everything's getting cut.
You just go through everything. Or he goes, why does nobody turn it off? If I'm swiping and I got my beam and then I turn it off, just to turn it back on the second that blade has crossed me, I'll hit you every time.
That'd be sick.
I did look into that, and they said that was a style, but it's looked as being shameful. It's not noble for Jedi.
But if I'm a Sith,
it's shameful for a Sith. Even for the Sith, it's a no. It's like one of those things.
That sounds like some bullshit. Anyway,
nah, the way of the samurai, man. Even if you're a bad guy, you still got honor. You still got honor. Or else, I'm trying to figure out. Y'all got telekinetic power. Why is the sword fight anyway? Why not just fly him into
space wizards out here? You know,
because not all of them have as strong telekinesis.
Yeah,
Vader did, and he had way too many sword fights for a guy that can just move things with his mind. But her getting ran through, for it to end in anything but death, felt silly.
Well, and it also starts the tone. It starts the whole show off on this tone where stakes and consequences kind of not really going to matter. Right.
And it weakens the lightsaber. Like the lightsaber is supposed to be the most chilling weapon. To see someone survive it off the first episode is like you're decreasing the danger of this thing.
Right. Yeah. And
she's not even in a coma for like an episode. She's up in atom.
How many lightsaber battles where someone has been impaled? I'm not talking about an appendage cut off. I'm talking about like a killing stroke. In the content of Star Wars, how many of those moments didn't lead in death?
Well, this new batch, because we saw on the freaking Obi-Wan show when that the black woman killed that dude, and that was a killing blow through the chest, and he still wound up coming back later. These Disney-fied joints are breaking rules. Whereas Darth Maul killed what's his face in the prequels, freaking Liam Neeson ain't come back.
Unless he's like a Force ghost,
right? So I don't know. I felt like they should have just slashed her or something. Like
Force ghost from coast to coast.
Bars.
Hey yo! All right. So, anyways, So we have this fight scene. She gets stabbed. She ends up living. We know she's gonna live because they invested too much time with her in the first place, riding the bike. We knew that she wasn't gonna die.
But I don't need her to die. I just need her to be in a coma for an episode. I still need her hopping up in bed, like going right to work, like it was nothing.
Within the same episode, she's fine.
Man.
So,
the technology is pretty advanced. They can clone body parts and whatnot. So
I know
they don't talk about that a lot, but
But just for I just want the danger of the Siths and the danger of the lightsaber to matter more. Like we can't just walk away. But
also, what does it say about the apprentice Sith character?
That he's a terrible, like he doesn't follow through.
that she doesn't follow through.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And she seems like, every piece of content. I said it in the Mission Impossible. There's always that beautiful bad girl that's like reckless and crazy. Like she's the crazy. They always make her the crazy one.
Yeah.
And
You're right. That's funny. It's such a it is the
formula.
new archetype trope.
Yeah. Anyways, keep going, Jack. So the next they were in episode. This is like part 2 now, right?
Well, I don't know. We'll run them both together. So first 2 episodes. So then what happens is Rosario's got to track down Ahsoka's got to track down some clues. Good evening. Ahsoka's got to track down some clues, so she goes back to
Oh, good evening,
good
Josie.
evening. She goes back
evening.
to her used to be apprentice's house, where she meets the cat standing outside the door, and we're like, okay, the cat's clearly out. The cat duck thing is clearly outside the door for a reason, and Ahsoka is going there to kill the droid that she's hoping is still there, and it is still there, but it's there in a really weird spot. It's like Spider-Man.
Why is it still there?
Right.
They got what they needed. There's no reason to case the joint anymore.
They got what they needed, and they thought they killed the.
Even if they didn't kill her, like we got what we want. Why we need to leave a droid behind?
Yeah, and then we come to find out later on that those droids are just not everywhere. They're decommissioned and everything like that. So it's like
Right, they're very specific droids that very specifically store certain memories and data in their mind. So
these hard to come by droids that hold all the information our heroes needs, where it's conveniently left behind with no reason for the hero to find.
Yeah.
Right,
it's kind of on
there.
the nose,
and it's there waiting for the hero to return, so they can kill the character that they thought they killed already again. Anyways, Ahsoka takes its head off pretty cleanly, brings the head back to Sabine, who starts hooking it up, and the other droid, what's the name of Rosario Dawson's droid? Do we know?
3C4PO.
Is that right? C4PO?
That's not
like
it.
that would be hysterical. And we'll get that answer soon, I'm sure. Anyways, he says, listen, you got to be careful. You can extract the data from these droids, but they're designed in a way where if you don't get the power level very specifically, if you don't get it accurate, it will blow up. You're like, that's an odd bit of conflict to add to this scene, but okay, we'll go with it.
But it did nothing to up the stakes or the tension.
No, it did nothing, because you know 2 things. You knew 2 things were going to be true at the end of the scene. You knew that the only way for the story to progress was for them to get the information. So we knew that they were going to get the information before they started. And we knew that the thing couldn't explode, because if they died, there'd be no series. So again, it's this weird thing where I call it kind of lazy writing, where they're not being plausible. You want plausible deniability for these things to happen, right? And so for the head to get on the final bar of red going, it's going to blow up, and then he shuts it off and it doesn't blow up, and she goes, hey, I managed to get the location.
See, I was hoping she didn't. I was hoping like we didn't get it. At least a gap in expectation. Peace out.
Good night, Brent.
Good night,
thanks for
dude.
sticking out.
Later, my guy.
Or that they have to throw it out the window because it does explode. I'm like, give me it not working out for them.
Right. Something. But anyways, so they extract the information. Now they're on their way to a used to be Empire spot that's been converted to a now Rebel spot, but they're still using old Empire people with Empire
which is cool.
tech.
I like that idea of a lot of the people that work for the Empire. It was like just their job. And now that there's no Empire, they work here. But you can't really trust. Like I like that era of like a lot of these guys are just not regular dudes, but like their allegiance was how they were getting paid. So they're not just like imprisoned. They're like they're working. You just don't know who to trust. But go back real quick. Allegedly, go back and talk about the subplot of will Ahsoka train her to be Jedi.
Right. Sorry. Okay. So So now what's also happening in the content is there's the angst of master apprentice, and Sabine used to be Ahsoka's apprentice until stuff hit the fan and they both kind of quit on each other. But now what's going on is Ahsoka's droid keeps hinting at the fact that
Hu
maybe
Yang.
she should take her Hu Yang.
Wu Tang.
Wow. Okay, sure.
So Hu Yang keeps hinting at the fact that you should maybe take on Apprentice, and he keeps encouraging Sabine, hey, stay the course, as does Hera,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Keeps telling Ahsoka kind of the same thing and keeps telling Sabine's character kind of the same thing. She needs an apprentice. You should be the apprentice. Y'all used to be a master apprentice. It'll happen again.
Now, I know this is one of those things where if you watch the animation, this is paying off because you can't wait. For us, it's like, we know you're going to train her. Just train her.
Yeah.
Like, just get on with it.
Or don't.
Or
just
don't.
get on with the series.
But I guess for people that watched it, like, they're on the edge of their seat. They can't wait. But for the rest of us, we're just like, forced conflict. Either do it or don't.
Right. That's what Yoda says. Do or do not do.
Right. There
Right?
is no try.
And I think that if the content followed Yoda's advice of just doing or do not doing, it'd probably be, well, you'd get a lot more mileage out of the stuff because you'd be moving a lot quicker. Anyway, so they go on this. So they go to the shipyard where they're decommissioning and taking old Empire parts and making new Rebel stuff. And they discover, oh, actually, yep, there's some bad guys here, and they have been acting in accordance with the Empire, and so obviously a fight ensues, and at this point, Hera shows up, right? She's meeting Ahsoka's character here, right? They have a tour of the yard, and then when the battle ensues, you got Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka character fighting a new Sith character who we haven't exactly seen yet.
And I feel like anyone in a mask has to be someone we know, right? Or what's the point of revealing them? Unless for them to look cool, but I feel like...
I don't know. I mean, we know Hayden Christensen's character is good. We know he's going to be in this.
He's Vader by now.
Yeah,
he's all the way Vader.
Vader. We'll see him in flashbacks, I'm assuming, like later.
I mean, I would assume we would.
We should, because he trained her and he freaking slaughtered all the kids.
Yeah,
right.
It'd be good to see it from his point of view, her point of view, live action.
We'll see it from her point of view, right? Which is a good point. Yeah, Ahsoka was literally Anakin's apprentice, right?
Yes,
and we haven't dealt with them. That's what the series needs to be. I need to see that, her dealing with that.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get.
He's dead.
Who's dead?
He's dead now. Yes. But he is in the series, so we'll see him in flashbacks.
Wait, who's dead?
Darth Vader.
Anakin?
By this point, yeah. This is after everything.
Yeah.
This is after everything, but before the new movies.
Right. So then what happens? So then they go there, but that goes wrong. But Hera managed to get her droid, and some of the droids are always like very unreliable, but somehow managed to pull it off in the last minute. He gets a tracking device on the ship that's going to where they don't know at this point.
Yeah, that whole droid thing didn't make sense. First, this man is like, oh wow, this robot is digging through a junk pile like I dig through the junk drawer in my toolbox. Like, what are we doing? Is this not the future or some type of advanced technology? And then you throw it? We're throwing it. We're just throwing it. We're just alley-ooping it over there. What are we doing?
Well, but that's what it was. So they needed to get a tracking device on the other ship before it went into its hyper jump, made its jump, and they managed to get it on there. Good shot.
Of course they did. Everything they do works out.
Well, because we know it has to. Again, we know it will, because if it doesn't, the plot can't it can't move forward. So that's a weird thing, man. You want plausible. I keep saying plausible deniability. You want to be on the edge of the path could go either way. But right now we're watching content where there is only one path, and so it has to go that way.
Because when you look at sophisticated storytelling, and I say that very tongue in cheek, like Game of Thrones, the end of the season wasn't just to get good guy versus bad guy. But when that is your formula, then you're spending the next 10 episodes having to get them to the battleground instead of it just being more intricate. Like maybe they never face off, or maybe they lose, or maybe this. But here, they don't have a season 2 necessarily. None of these shows don't necessarily go to season 2. Sometimes it's just a standalone season. It's almost like you kind of have to wrap this up in 8 or 10 episodes.
Well, whether it will or won't, you don't want to be. You don't want to feel like they're milking a thing or that they're slow playing a thing. You want to feel like, ooh, this has to happen, and there's a. Well, I mean, right now there should be a certain amount of urgency to what's going on. You know,
I think if they didn't rely on the audience to really know who Thrawn is, there would be. We don't know who he is if you didn't watch the cartoons, so we don't. This big bad that I have no relationship to, that I don't even know how bad he is. Like I don't like.
Is Thrawn in hiding? Like, why are we trying to find Thrawn so badly that he's so important? He wouldn't just be like, "Here I am."
I think he's well, he might be in hiding, but he's like the last.
Or he's in prison.
The Empire. Is
right.
he in
I thought
prison?
he was like banished or kicked out, or maybe he's in hiding. He's definitely somewhere else. But why is
Ezra might be with him too? Right.
Why is Ezra a good guy from the Rebel faction in the same spot as the Thanos character, essentially?
Because that makes Sabine want to be involved. It's all just formula.
Right.
Without him, Sabine is like, I'll help you, but I'm not. My emotional stakes in this isn't going to make me make bad decisions to get us in trouble if he wasn't involved.
I haven't seen episode 2 yet.
He hasn't seen the 2 episodes yet.
I haven't seen the 2 episodes yet. Well, you might not want to watch this, but it'd probably be still good.
Jeffrey, watch this. Just like rewind it back to the beginning. We talk about so much stuff before we get to Ahsoka.
Oh, that's true.
Pause it and then come back. Yes.
Right. That's way better. Thanks for the view count.
You keep telling people to leave.
Right. It's not like we're making money on this thing yet. Because I keep sending everyone away. Anyway, so then what happens is, what happens then? So they get the tracking device on, and then we cut to where the tracker is going to eventually take them. Whoa, what just happened? Okay, cool. So we cut to where the ship with the tracking device is, and it's...
How many episodes? Honestly, Wills, I think it's... And I'm not a big Star Wars head, but no, Jeffrey, don't leave. Just rewind it to the beginning of this. Don't leave, Jeffrey, please. Wills, I think one or two things: either we're gonna get Thrawn right away and get into it, or they're gonna milk that to the last episode.
Yeah, it'll be the second or last episode.
Yeah, or we're gonna get him next episode, and we're just gonna get into it already.
Maybe
one or the other. It's one or the other. Either we're gonna get into it and it's gonna feel fast, or they're going to milk it and it's going to feel slow. But I don't think it's going to be in that sweet spot.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. So then what we learn when they get to the to the new planet where the ship was going in the first place, where the orb is, the map with the map, they put the orb in the thing, the witch comes up, and then she, Sabine managed to do what the witch does in this scene, and she does it a lot easier. So it's like, I didn't really understand that what the witch character was able to do was so impressive, because we literally just saw Sabine's character do it when she had the orb, but she does some sort of magical force thing on an altar that turns the whole thing.
Sabine used tech, right? She used her technology.
She doesn't have the special projector,
But it lit up in her room.
It's not the same. It's like looking at something on your TV screen versus looking at it on a movie screen.
Yeah,
right. But it was the same information.
I mean, yeah, okay, all right, Jack, whatever.
So when I guess my point is, when the witch did it here, it felt less like her character was actually that special, right?
Because we
Just
saw
like
someone else do it.
we just saw someone with no context at all do it. And I don't know why the Sabine character, based off of this content, is so much more tech savvy or force savvy or whatever savvy that she was able to actually crack the code and no one else was able to. I mean, Ahsoka wasn't even remotely able to, but then...
Well, that's how we get Sabine in the content.
Right. Okay. Okay, cool. So then...
I'm trying
so
to
then
find
what...
this third cis guy. I cannot. They're keeping him under wraps.
Who?
The one,
The guy with the helmet.
yeah, the guy with the
Dual
helmet.
saber.
Oh yeah.
They're keeping him under wraps. I wonder.
Can we call it a saber ring?
A
Like
saber ring.
Saber ring? Because it boomerangs back?
Maybe. Sure. I guess.
We'll call him Saber Ring Sith. So Saber Ring Sith, we don't know who he is yet.
Or
and
she.
Then what happens? That's basically the end of the content. The guy sends his Sith apprentice to go do something else at the end of the thing, and he basically stands in the middle of Nowhereville by himself. And then, okay, I'm sorry, wait. And then we have Sabine cuts her hair, and we're like, okay, now she's Boba Fett. I mean, now she's a Mando. She's a Mandalorian now.
She could have put it in a bun.
No, she cut it.
Like the
no, she cut it. Yeah,
she took the knife. She took the dagger.
I'm just saying she could have put it in the bun like the.
No. I think her cutting her hair is symbolic of I'm doing something that's not permanent, but it's like I'm making this choice and it's gonna stick.
Yeah, and she was butterflying into being the apprentice again,
and she looks how she looked in one of them series because that's how she.
Yeah, she always had that short hair. Yeah.
Well, and she says that this is me.
Yeah, so she's a man. So she could be like a Mandalorian Jedi, right?
Yeah, a Mandalai.
A Mandalai.
No, let's not do that.
A Jedalorian.
A
Jedalorian.
Okay. Anyway, so it ends with her and Ahsoka in Ahsoka's ship, and they're about to make the jump to hyperspace, and Ahsoka says, essentially, why don't you punch it? And she does.
This is where I fell asleep, to be honest with you.
Well, I think that was the end of the... That was basically
I
the end of the
off to a lot of the end of this episode.
I did too.
Rich, I know you did.
When the witch started doing the map thing, I was kind of in and out on that one. I'm like,
Rich,
why are we
when
doing
I
this?
saw that it was a 47-minute long episodes, I was like, oh, Rich ain't got it. I hope he split it up. I hope he try to watch it back to back.
Yeah,
man, it's not Mandalorian, but I enjoyed it better than Boba Fett. But adjacent to Obi-Wan so far. Now Obi-Wan had the heart. Hugh McGregor still brought so much heart to it.
Yeah.
And Rosaria is just not in this enough. She's not. It's not about her emotional stakes yet. Anyway.
Yeah.
Like she's driving it, but it's not about her. It's about Sabine, really.
Yes. Yes.
Which I don't have.
Here's what I'm hoping. Ahsoka is too cool of a character for them not to really... If they don't really start exploiting just how cool she is, and as a fighter, and in the Force, then this content is very quickly going to just...
They're her. They're using her coolness as a catalyst to get us interested in other characters.
Lawrence, you said it in the debate. Mm-hmm. You voiced it very well, right? Star Trek being about discovery and the journey, and this is an action series. And so if I'm not looking at the dopest fights, lightsaber fight scenes, if I'm not seeing the coolest, most innovative way for these battle sequences to be happening, then that's just as much as I want story-driven content, this is an action-driven series.
But
I need that action.
For it to be what we want it to be, it's so expensive that we have to get through fillers. And then like the last 2 episodes is just going to be like...
You know what? But I'll say this. Crazy. If every third episode you give me that Superman Doomsday fight, I'm watching all of your
You
filler
don't. What
today.
you don't know is that we went through 3 seasons of Superman and Lois before we got to a fight like that, Jack.
Yo, and well, there were some pretty good moments along the way. There's pretty good fights along the
Absolutely,
way too.
yeah. But
Oh,
I
first of
think
all, we're 2 episodes in, and they're probably going to give us like what 6 episodes.
these seasons be short. Let me check.
Like we need like they need to spice this up. Like
I
third
mean, it's
episode, we
not
need to be
going to
doing
be
something.
8 episodes. We're getting
8
episodes.
episodes.
Sounds right. Yeah. Okay.
So usually when they drop 2 episodes, it's because 2 episodes really make up one. They're like, this gets us to the dance. After these 2, now we're starting. So
Right.
hopefully episode 3 is like we're in it now. Like they're light speed. We're going for it. We have the battles be starting, and then we have
The
the
pilot
tension between
episodes
them.
are often extended episodes, anyways.
Yeah, and
All
this
right.
is barely a pilot. This is like for everyone who didn't watch Rebels. Here's a quick tutorial
That's
on
pretty.
what's
Yeah, that's pretty
happening.
much what it was. They were pushing that a lot.
And they had to because they couldn't pretend like Rebels didn't happen and kind
Yeah.
of retell the stories as if it didn't happen because a big part of that fan base will just check out.
Right.
True.
So it's tough, man. I find it interesting that most of Star Wars content lives in prequels. Hairball.
bless.
Sorry.
Oh,
Hairball. Okay.
what's
They're all
the
prequels. They're
Stop
all
licking
just
your nuts.
prequels. No, Rich. Mind your damn business.
wow? I didn't even know what I think that was.
But they're all just prequels. Like every Star Wars series, we ultimately know how it ends in a way. Maybe not specifically for each character, but all this is happening before the newer movies.
Yeah.
So the Empire might come back. Well, we know Kylo Ren's going to come back and do some stuff. May not be the Empire, but you know. So it's kind of weird these series. It would work better if those new movies never came out. Then these would
You know
all
what?
just be.
You know what's interesting? I just watched a documentary on Infinity, which is actually really interesting. I recommend everyone go watch it. There's some cool stuff in it, but they talk about how and this. My point is, I'm talking about this content that we're watching because numbers go, and this is pretty obvious: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to whatever, right? Infinity.
Right.
But there's numbers in between the numbers, and there's actually an infinity amount going in either direction in between the numbers also, right? There might be a finite amount, but it's pretty much infinite. And that's kind of what this content is. It's all this stuff in between the numbers, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily prequel, and it's certainly not continuing story, but it's all the numbers in between the numbers. So you know that there is really only so much they can do with the content before they start infringing that number that's already there that we know exists.
Why that, and that's why Mandalorian is so good, because it's a smaller character in a tighter world that does not affect Jedi's. He doesn't affect the Empire. He's kind of his own Lone Ranger thing. So whatever he does doesn't affect what comes later. So y'all can do whatever you want. But Ahsoka is still connected to the stuff that's coming next. So you can't have her blow up everything. So we know that eventually you're going to have to line up with. So it's almost better if you use Boba Fett. Should have been great because he's a character that we thought was dead. So you can do whatever you want with him. He's not going to affect the canon. It should have been dope.
Boba Fett spent just way too much time traversing the desert.
Man. And then Obi-Wan.
There's so many scenes where Boba Fett's just on a thing.
It's like
Lord
of the Rings. All they do is walk the whole movie.
Hey.
Wait,
they did. Am I lying? In that first movie, they didn't just walk in real time.
To have second breakfast. All right.
Thank you.
A second breakfast.
All right.
No one's struggling if you're able to have a second breakfast.
Exactly.
So I'm coming back to watch it. You know, I'm watching it, and Disney Plus is lucky I'm coming back to watch it. Pay your freaking actors and writers what they're worth, or I'll cut off my streaming service. Just got to put that out there.
Well, so I guess let's wrap this up. So are we coming back or not coming back? Lawrence, you're coming back. Rich,
I'm
you
coming back? But the way I came back for like Secret Invasion. And maybe here, maybe there, maybe next weekend, like whatever. No rush.
Okay. I'm coming back unlike what I did for Secret Invasion. Uh, I'm gonna keep on with it because I love the content. I mean, it's better than Andor, and I watch consistently watch all of Boba Fett. So I'm gonna watch this. It has some action in it.
People
You
love
watched all of
Andor
Boba
though.
Fett?
People
Did
love
the, I,
Andor.
was that? I watched all of Boba Fett. Yeah, we talked about Boba. Well, no, we didn't. I think
You and Chris.
me and Chris talked about Boba Fett. Yes,
But
we watched all of that.
people love Andor.
It was a
People.
slow burn for me. It was a whole lot of setting up for stuff. I'm like, let's
Yeah.
get to the caper. Let's get to what
And
we're about to
Andor
do.
was very cool first 2 episodes, and then
Yes. I was
like
like, yo, these first 2 episodes, dope. After that, I'm like, what? Why are we talking so much?
Yeah. Wills, I think the Mandalorian will appear. No, I think Pedro Pascal is too busy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bo-Katan shows up.
but
Mm.
oh, interesting. But would you
Especially the
actually
way.
need Pedro for Mando to have a
Well,
cameo?
no, because he was
Really
barely in
don't.
the suit in the last season. But I think
Yeah.
the way it looked like they were setting up the last season of Mandalorian, like it was Bo-Katan was probably taking the
The
torch of
mantle,
being
yeah.
So it makes sense if she showed up here.
I mean, technically, she is the Mandalorian now.
They're all yeah. And Pedro Pascal has a hit HBO series.
Yeah. Yeah. My man spread out there. So, yeah.
Jack?
Yeah, I'm coming back, but it's gonna be casual, and whether or not I finish the whole series will kind of be based off of how the story progresses in the next 2 episodes. So I'm probably not going to watch it this week, but
You're going to wait for 2 to watch back to back.
I think so, yeah, because also One Piece is dropping this week, and I'm pretty committed to,
True.
fingers crossed, the content's decent. I don't know, man. It's going to either be really heartfelt and fun, or it's probably going to be trash. So,
Sad
but it
part
won't be.
is it could be good and still get canceled, like Cowboy Bebop.
Well, with today's climate,
Oh,
it
Cowboy
absolutely
Bebop, man. Come on. That was
Cowboy
great.
Bebop was good.
It was. And they were just like, nah, we done with it. Like, what do you mean?
It didn't draw enough. Well, also Netflix.
Crap.
You're still here.
Yeah.
You're here.
Oh, weird. My computer froze up.
Well, Netflix, they don't advertise their stuff extremely well.
They don't.
Like if
I
you
feel
have
like
Netflix,
they don't need to.
oh yeah.
I'll say this: if you're driving in Hollywood, headed down Sunset, there are 7 gigantic billboards of One Piece right now.
Okay, well that's something.
All right.
That's
See what happens.
It's local.
And there is a strike, so it's not like any of the actors could promote it anyway. So
Yeah.
there's that. All right. Well, that's what we got for Ahsoka, and I'm gonna finish it just because of my love for Rosario Dawson. Just the pace, I can't commit. But Rich,
Whoa, hey.
in a professional,
I love her too. I don't know what she's
She's
doing.
very good in this content.
She is very good.
I mean, without even trying, depth pouring out of.
Yeah. And like I
so
said,
good.
like I said about watching the animated series where she's a kid, she's very alive in every moment, and that's what more can you ask her hope for in a performance?
And she's making me a fan of Ahsoka, so a part of me wants to go back and like let me just start watching, Clone Wars. Let me start watching Rebels.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I will. It's a nice thing to have on. Like I don't know what to watch. Let me throw this on real quick.
Yeah.
While I'm showering, let me throw something on.
What?
I got the thing in the bathroom. You can put your phone in, so you can watch something while you take a shower.
Oh, you Hollywood? Okay, never mind.
No, Chris holds his phone in the shower. He's like it's water resistant. I'm like, well, what about the
what? Hold on, wait a second.
Don't FaceTime him because he might pick up. Oh yeah, he's reckless. He's reckless.
Wow. Okay.
Reckless. But I got some recommendations.
Recommendations.
Boom. So Chris usually does this, but I was thinking of like, if you love Star Wars and you're looking for some other space odyssey fixes, I have some for you right here. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy. If you love space, you love adventure. Guardians is pretty much Star Wars.
It's not in the same tone at all, though.
No, but it'd be a well. All of these are different. I would say that Han Solo movie kind of felt a little Guardians ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because Star Wars itself is almost bipolar in nature. It's like it's Muppets, but then it's a drama.
Yeah.
Especially when Disney bought it, they all like everything kind of took on a different identity. Also, if you love Star Wars and you haven't seen Spaceballs, to quote Rich, what are you doing with your
for
life?
real.
You gotta
It
watch
is the
Spaceballs.
dopest
And
parody.
even if you don't like Star Wars, you'll probably still like
Like
Spaceballs.
Man,
Right.
I saw Spaceballs decades before I actually watched Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm watching Star Wars like they did that in Spaceballs. This is just like Spaceballs.
Yeah,
Wow.
and the what's the line? The Luke, I am your father line is more like I am your father's cousin's uncle's neighbor's nephew. You're like,
It's
what?
Mel Brooks. It's Mel
He goes,
Brooks.
so what does that make us? Absolutely nothing.
Your Schwartz is bigger than mine. It's just great. It's great. Also, listen, man, if you want something that is a cult classic that is weird and out there, but it's a space fantasy, go throw in Flash Gordon. Go throw in Flash
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
Gordon. It don't get more space fantasy weird than
That's
Flash
funny.
freaking Gordon.
And you know what's funny about Flash Gordon is he predates all this content. I mean, he's 1920s is Flash
Dude.
Gordon.
Flash Gordon gave me complexes of putting my hands in things that I couldn't see. Remember you put his hands into that rock to get stung by the scorpion? I'm like, I've never put my hands in things. And I don't know what's on the other side. I don't know inside of it.
That's called
I want to know how many opportunities you had in your life to be like, I don't know about putting my hand in there. Like, where were
Listen,
you? Were you
I
just
shoved my
listen-
finger in a dustbuster one time and ripped the skin off of it, okay?
well,
So,
You're
you know,
that guy.
I was a little reckless as a youngin', all right?
Very
is
reckless.
it's wisdom when you learn from someone else's mistakes?
Yeah, I mean, I learned from that mistake. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't do that ever again.
And you saw Flash Gordon and you doubled down.
Yeah, I was like, I'm never doing that again.
never doing that again. I'm never putting things in strange places ever.
I mean, depending on how strange we're talking. You know?
Hey, and last recommendation as I pull it out of thin air for a space fantasy. You guys kind of talked about it last week. I actually have barely even seen it, but Firefly, man, people swear by Firefly and Serenity. Yeah,
Serenity, yeah.
Serenity too.
Yeah.
So, man, a guy I know gave me his Blu-ray, said you have to watch this. You know, but it's about finding time to sit down and watch it. But I hear that's great. So those are the recommendations for space fantasies.
In the vein of Star Wars.
In the vein of Star Wars. That's
Okay.
That's our show. I hope you enjoyed it.
That's the show?
Yeah, that's the show.
I think so. That's
All
the
right,
show.
all right,
That's
guys.
the show. That's the show, man. You can check us out, Jack. We got to still do the outro.
Oh, sorry.
That's the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Check us out on social media. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We also got a podcast that drops. Hit us up. Links are in the description below, or they will be. They're not right now if you're watching this live, but they will be once this becomes unlivened.
Unlivened.
Go with it. And this is what we do, man. We sit here, we talk trash, we talk about geek news, talk about all of it, talk about the stuff we like, show off our toys. And
Yeah, real adult stuff.
real adult stuff. I got this new blanket.
Yeah, I saw that in the background. I didn't know what that was.
Got this new blanket
Okay.
for my gamer recliner chair.
Yo, look at his shirt. What shirt
So,
are you
hold
rocking?
on, let me.
Oh, Rich got me this shirt.
Did I?
Yes,
Yo.
you did.
That's such a Lawrence thing. Rich, what
Come
shirt
on.
are you wearing today?
Oh, listen. This is the squad. All right. When I used to be in a car group, Technical Advantage, New York.
All right.
You know, when this back in the day when the squad was big, we were expanding all over, New York and New Jersey. This New York were the originals. But no, we ain't doing that no more. Now we just a bunch of good friends hanging out, living life, getting old together.
Oh, like family.
Like family. Yeah, like family. All
Until the
right.
government calls you guys to go like on some mission in Moscow.
I
These
mean,
car guys
they
gonna
need to
save the
call me, so
world.
I need some money. Like they need to pay me to do something. Government, man.
Jack, what are you wearing?
Oh yeah. Well, since we're talking Star Wars, I wore my robot.
That's a sad robot.
That's a sad
I
looking
know it's a
robot.
sad little robot. I found it in a cool little Japanese store.
Okay,
Like the Tin Man looking for his heart.
maybe.
Oh, I'll bet that's what it is.
Maybe it's like a interpretation
Dang,
of Wizard of
Lawrence.
Oz. You know, come on, I'm
Sharp. This
cultured.
guy is sharp.
Woo! Like a blunt object. Here we go. We'll be back.
Sound like a plot. Okay, all right.
We'll be back. Same bad time.
Same bad channel.
Peace.